What is the difference between dis and miss, making negative words in English? If you want to improve your vocabulary in English, one of the best things you can do is to study the most common prefixes and suffixes for English words. Knowing what they mean will not only help you to remember more words, but it will also give you the ability to guess the meanings of words that you haven't seen before. Today I'm going to talk about the difference between two prefixes, dis and miss. Both of them are used to make negative words, but their meanings have some subtle differences. The meaning of dis. The prefix dis has a Latin origin. Dis became a productive prefix in English starting around the 16th century. It's normally attached to words of Latin origin, but you will occasionally find it used with Germanic words too. It has three possible meanings. The first meaning is to deprive of something. It's used to change a noun into a transitive verb. Here are some examples. Dismast, to break off the mast or masts of a sailing vessel. 25 minutes had sufficed for Yankee gunners to dismast a British frigate. Drawn from some stories of old Ironsides by Holloway Halstead Frost. Discolor, to change or lose color. If you wash your jeans with bleach, it will discolor them. The second meaning is lacking a desirable quality. It's used with adjectives, nouns, and transitive verbs. Here are some examples. Dishonest, a lack of honesty. Beware of dishonest traders in tourist areas. Disadvantage, a lack of advantage. The fact that he didn't speak a foreign language put him at a distinct disadvantage. The third meaning is to reverse a state or process, or to do the opposite action. It's used with transitive verbs and with nouns derived from transitive verbs. Here are some examples. Disconnect, to stop a connection. Push the end button to disconnect from the online meeting. Disengage, to separate, to reverse the state of being engaged. Captain Jones decided to disengage the autopilot and fly the plane manually. The meaning of miss. The prefix miss has an interesting history. It was present in Old English. Words like mislead and mistime date from this period. In Old French, there was a prefix mais that had a similar meaning. The two prefixes ended up merging. The modern meaning of miss is to do something wrongly or improperly. It is used mainly with transitive verbs. You can see it used with some nouns and adjectives that are derived from verbs. Here are some examples. Mispronounce, to pronounce incorrectly. If a word has an unusual spelling and is not commonly used, even native speakers might mispronounce it. Misunderstand, to understand incorrectly. If you don't present your data clearly, your audience might misunderstand what you did. Comparing dis and miss. To understand how using dis or miss changes the meaning of a word, let's look at some pairs of words that use the two prefixes. Displace versus misplace. The first definition of dis applies to displace. It means a person or a thing is deprived of its place. An example would be, the hurricane displaced 2,000 people. Misplace means to put something or someone in the wrong place. An example would be, I can't find my glasses. I must have misplaced them. Disinformation versus misinformation. The second definition of dis applies to disinformation. Disinformation is false information deliberately and often covertly spread to hide the truth. An example would be, Carlson has been spreading lies and disinformation on Fox News for years, much to the delight of viewers who would rather have their beliefs confirmed than be presented with the truth. Drawn from Bill Goodykuntz, The Arizona Republic, April 24, 2023. Misinformation is incorrect information. Unlike disinformation, misinformation does not have the implication that the information was deliberately wrong. It was simply incorrect. An example would be, misinformation on COVID-19 is so pervasive that even some patients dying from the disease still say it's a hoax. Zara Abrams, Monitor on Psychology, Volume 52, Number 2. Disused versus misused. The third definition of dis applies to disused. Instead of being used, something is abandoned. An example would be, a group of homeless people took shelter in a disused warehouse. Misused means to use something in the wrong way. An example would be, John misused his company's money and ended up in jail. In summary, adding mis to a word changes the meaning to doing something wrongly or improperly. Adding dis to a word can change the meaning to one of three things. It can mean to deprive of something, like discolor. It can also mean to lack a desirable quality, like dishonest. Or it can mean the reverse or opposite of an action, like disconnect. Thank you for listening. This is Christine from Difficult English Explained.